We are, if you've forgotten, in day 20 of a federal government shutdown, and both sides are dug in. Democrats are demanding action on health care before they vote to reopen the government. On Saturday, millions of Americans, meanwhile, filled the streets in thousands of cities and towns for the No Kings protest against President Trump and his administration. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont told protesters in Washington that mega billionaires are hijacking, in his words, America's democracy. That's the message of his new book, Fight Oligarchy, inspired by a nationwide tour earlier this year. And the senator joins me right now. Senator, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks very much for having me.
A lot of advisors say oligarchy is a technical, abstract term. You shouldn't use it, but you make the case for it. I want to get to the book, but first, on the shutdown, Senator Thune has said, Leader Thune over in the Senate has said the health care issues will come to a vote if Democrats reopen the government first. He can't guarantee the outcome, but you'll get the vote. Why isn't that no good?
Well, I'll tell you why it's no good. Right now, as I think everybody knows, our current healthcare system is broken. It's dysfunctional. We spend twice as much per person as the people of any other country. 85 million uninsured. We don't have enough doctors, nurses, dentists, et cetera. It's a broken system. What Trump did in his big, beautiful bill is to throw 15 million low-income and working-class people off the health care they currently have by massive cuts in Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. You know what studies show, guys? Let's talk about this. Studies show that when you throw 15 million low-income and working-class people off health care, 50,000 people a year will die unnecessarily. They don't have the money to go to a doctor. They have a chronic illness. They will die. And then on top of that, all over the country, in my state of Vermont, all over the country, people right now are receiving notices from their insurance companies. Their premiums are going to go up by 20%, by double.
So open the government and vote on it. Make the case.
Really? No. And let 50,000 people die if Trump vetoes the legislation, if the House doesn't deal with the legislation. You know what's going on right now in the House? The Speaker of the House, Mr. Johnson, has given his people a 5-week vacation. They're not even in Washington, D.C. Before I vote on a bill that will right now allow 50,000 people to die unnecessarily, I want it absolutely clear that that will not happen, period.
Well, meantime, you could have the president is saying that the shutdown's a chance for Republicans to cut programs left and right that they don't like, that you like. So how long are you willing to let this ride for losses?
Look, I cannot allow, in good conscience, 50,000 people a year to die unnecessarily, and in my state and all over this country. Healthcare premiums, you think you're paying enough out there right now? Look at doubling premiums for 20 million people, sometimes tripling, quadrupling.
So you don't think you can win a vote?
How do we get out of this with both sides blaming the other? Still, nobody's talking.
Yeah, they're just pointing the finger.
I think that's what's so frustrating to the people, because everybody who's making the decisions, they're still getting paid, while the employees, the workers, are going without. Somebody has got to say, get together and...
Well, it might help, Gayle, if the House of Representatives brought their people back. They're on vacation right now. Pretty hard to negotiate with people who are on vacation. And I think just to talk a little bit about the Senate process. Now, in the House, majority rules. In the Senate, you need 60 votes.
Right.
Republicans have 53. They need to negotiate. You know how much negotiations they've done? Zero. Our way or the highway. Unprecedented.
Can we talk about the No Kings protest this weekend? How do you translate all that passion into action, into votes?
Great question, and that is exactly what we're working on. We are right now working to help thousands and thousands of people begin the process of running for office, maybe for the state legislature, city council, for school board, getting people involved in the political process. It's something we are doing right now. We are supporting great candidates all over this country. I think the American people are sick and tired. And by the way, getting back to the shutdown, let's put this on the line. Why did Trump and his friends throw 15 million people off of health care and double premiums? You know why? To give $1 trillion in tax breaks to Elon Musk, Mr. Bezos, and the billionaire class. Anyone in America think that makes sense? Not me.
Now, let's get back to one of the major themes of this book. You talk about the Democratic Party and how they have, quote, turned its back on the needs and suffering of the American working class. So what do we need to do moving forward? What does the Democratic Party need to do moving forward?
Well, that's what we're doing right now. What the Democratic Party has got to do is make a very simple decision. I do not believe that most working class people who voted for Trump said, boy, I want to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%. They didn't vote to say, let's throw 15 million people, including many of us, off of the health care they had. They voted because they did not see a strong alternative. Here's the reality.
But
over
Senator,
the last 52 years, real inflation adjusted for wages for the average American worker have not gone up. They have declined.
PolitiFact says that's untrue. They say it's gone up 11%.
No, PolitiFact is, I stand by what we said. 52 years ago, compared to today, real weekly inflation accounted for wages are low. But just think, all of the increases in worker productivity, right? All of the technology, working class in this country is going nowhere. And in all likelihood, our kids will have a lower standard of living than we do.
So why are Democrats, just put a fine point on it, right? 2 out of 3 Americans have an unfavorable view of the party that you caucus with.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Okay, I'll tell you.
Why do they not like you and trust you right now?
Well, I think independents are a different story than Democrats. But right now, I think the answer is people looking around them. Can they afford health care? No. What have the Democrats done about that? Not a whole lot. Can their kids afford to go to child care? Well, no, child care is outrageously expensive. What about housing? How are we doing on housing? Nobody in America can afford housing right now. Housing costs are astronomical. You want to get your kids to eat decent food and not junk food so they don't become obese? Go to the grocery store. Find out how much it costs for decent quality food. What about rural America? Our hospitals are shutting down. So this country faces many crises. And I think a lot of working class people said, look, Trump is crazy. He lies all the time, but at least he's going to do something. Where are the Democrats? And the Democrats have got to make a very fundamental decision. Do you stand with the struggling working class, 60% of whom are living paycheck to paycheck, trying to survive? Are you prepared to take on the oligarchy, the Musks and the Bezos who have never had it so good? Live in a society where the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. Those are the issues we've got to put on the table
Senator,
and fight for.
You always bring an affirmative case. That is true. A lot of Democrats don't, and you say what you want to happen, and that it's all in the book. People should pick it up.
Yeah, Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Fight Oligarchy is out now as an ebook, and it will be available in print tomorrow.